All right, construction number 4, a perpendicular bisector. Now, it's a perpendicular bisector of a segment, and it also helps us construct a midpoint. So it can be two different names. It could be construct a midpoint or construct the perpendicular bisector. You're going to use the same steps either way. All right, so if we look here, it says given a segment. You need a segment and it needs 2 endpoints. All right, so I'm just looking at this. This is got centimeters here. I'm going to make it about 8.5 centimeters. Just doesn't have to be anything specific, but I just use that amount so it's a nice size on my paper. Okay, and let's call this segment NP for absolutely no reason. Could you tell I went blank? Okay, for no reason at all. Okay, segment NP, and we want to do the perpendicular bisector. Well, now let's think about visualizing what I'm after. Perpendicular means it's going to do what? Perpendicular says something about the angle. What angle is this line going to make with this segment? Perpendicular is going to say it's got to be a right angle. So I'm looking for a line that makes a right angle with this segment. But bisector means something else. Bisector means it cuts it in half. And if you cut a segment in half, you cut it at its midpoint. So what we're going to end up getting is a line that makes a right angle with this segment and passes through its midpoint. So the point on the line is going to be the midpoint. But now here's my question. If this is the visual of what I'm after, to cut it in half and be at a right angle to it, how many points of this line do I have already? Do you see any? It's going to cross here, but do I know which one? No, I don't know which one. So do I have any yet? I don't have any. That means how many do I have to find in this construction? To make a line, it takes how many points? 2. So I'm going to end up finding 2 crisscrosses, 2 places where X marks the spot to get this construction. Okay? So here's how we start. I now have 2 points of interest. We've started previously with only 1 point somewhere in the middle, kind of. I have the 2 on the outsides. I don't have anything in the middle. So I'm looking for, on my compass, I don't need my favorite arc. That's not going to work here. But I need something more than halfway this line. And I can visualize that about here's the middle, so I need something on my compass that's going to be beyond halfway. So maybe I'll go right there. So I'm using this distance on my compass. And that's more than half of this line. Okay? More than halfway. So let me say it one more time. Set the compass to a measurement more than halfway the line. Now, I'm going to put the center at one endpoint in, and I'm going to make an arc that starts at the top and goes all the way to the bottom, just, top to bottom like that. Then I'm going to turn my compass the opposite direction. Do not change this setting. Turn it the opposite direction, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now you could go bottom to top or top to bottom. It's not going to matter. As long as, and I'm glad that this happened. I'm glad this happened. You see right there, these did not cross. That means I have to go back and draw this one a little longer, and it doesn't mean I freehand it. Ooh, no. You put the compass back down, and you find that mark again, and then you finish it off. Okay? You do not freehand marks, but they must intersect. And here, sometimes this happens off the page. The page stops here and you can't make that intersection. Well, you can't use that as part of your construction. Something off the page didn't happen. It has to be on the page. But look, how many intersections do I have of these 2 arcs? One at the top, one at the bottom, and now I have my 2 points. One at the top, one at the bottom. There's the 2 points for the line. That's all there is to this one. There is the line that is the perpendicular bisector. It makes right angles here. Notice I end up with 4 right angles, And then this point is called what? The midpoint. I'm going to call it M. There's the midpoint. So we now know that MN is equal to MP because that's the midpoint. There's the perpendicular bisector. Now, let's step back and take a look at these arcs. If I said we call this the fish, would you understand why? Okay, to construct perpendicular bisector or to do the midpoint, you do the fish arcs. So it's top to bottom and top to bottom. Now I know, yeah, you have to, there's maybe his tail or going the other way, whatever. But you see, and you get it, the fish. Good luck.